Want to make studying in Canada stress-free? Let me show you how to register on ImmiBuddy in just a few clicks. First, head over to ImmiBuddy.com. This is your all-in-one study abroad assistant. Next, click on the register button at the top right corner. Click on student registration, as that's the example for the day. Click on get started. Provide your first name, last name, email address, and password. Please ensure your password follows the provided guidelines below. Now click on create account. Once you do this, please read carefully the terms and conditions and then accept the terms. After accepting the terms and creating the account, you would get 2 emails to your email inbox. The first one will be a welcome to ImmiBuddy email, and the second one will contain an activation link to activate the account you have just created. Click on the activate my account button in the email to activate your account, and then you can sign in to proceed with the next steps.
So we're here to present the iPad to the winner of our raffle draw. Right, so he's just won the iPad. He's an iPad winner.
Well, Fanta came right on time.
I know
It's no refurbished, guys.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Choco Millionaire Live. It is 1 p.m. Eastern Time and around 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you're watching this, you're really welcome. I have a good person here, somebody who has been here before, a familiar face, Dr. Harrison. Dr. Harrison, welcome to Choco Millionaire.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, if you have not downloaded the Afrius app, please consider checking it out. Afrius is giving you the best rate to send money from Canada, from the United States to the rest of the world. You can send money from US, from Canada, from Europe to Africa. You can send it to India as well. Now, Afrius also makes it possible for you to send money from some African countries into countries like Canada. An example, you can actually send money from Nigeria to Canada. You heard me right. Those of you who are having difficulties moving monies from your Nigerian naira or dollar accounts into Canada to pay your school fees and what have you, you can now do that using your Afrius app to send money from Nigeria to Canada. Do you also know that you can also send money from Kenya, from South Africa to over 12 countries within Africa? And that is in addition to countries like Nigeria and Ghana that you can also send money to. So I really want you to check out Afrius. And if you use my name, Choco, you will get a bonus for sending your first transactions. If you refer your Afrius app by sharing it with your friends, if they use it, you also stand a chance to make money. Doc, welcome to Choco Millionaire.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now, before we go into the details of today's video, it looks like there's an update that came through. An update just came through from the IRCC. We will talk about that maybe after this video, but I wanted to just give a scratch of it.
Okay, so we all know that there's been a lot of buzz about the home care support program, or home care worker immigration pathway that is coming out of pilot. And they've released just a few minutes ago updates about those that can apply. And with that, you'll know if you qualify based on the job offer you have, if you're in Canada. So I would advise that you should look through the link properly and check to see if your job duties and the place you're working is in line with that. So what they're trying to do here is to avoid people that are not qualified to apply. All right. So we know specifically there are 2 knocks that you should focus, that they are focusing on here. So we have the so let's say get job offers. I'm gonna look at them. So we have the home care providers, which is knock 44100, and the home support workers, which is knock 44101. Now, if you're not within those knocks, please be sure that your job duties are in line and are in those knocks. Don't have nursing aid knock, or you're working in nursing home, you want to apply for it. It won't work.
All right.
That's just what I have to say. Yeah.
So some early surprises come in there, right? They want to make sure that they know a lot of people are looking up to this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the update, Doc. So the last time you were here was also your first time, and we gave good news to my viewers regarding how they can apply to come to Canada to study and all of that, and the beautiful platform you built, which is ImmiBuddy. At the time we did that first video, you could only access it on the desktop. It was more friendly on desktop. Do you have an update for us?
Yeah, so what at that time it was not completely mobile friendly. Mobile friendly being that when you open it on your phone, it's not aligning properly based on the type of phone you're using, right? Or the size of screen you have on your based on your phone. So what we've done now is, if it's iPhone 14 or whatever was it called, I mean the smaller size of iPhone or bigger size of iPhone or iPad or 14-inch laptop or 16-inch laptop, whatever you're using, whatever screen size you're using, you can access ImmiBuddy properly now, and you see everything clear and simple as you should. And that is what we have for you.
Great. Doc, how has it been? I've heard that you got some good news already. You've assisted many people through ImmiBuddy, and you might have some good news. Are some people excited already, benefiting from the platform?
Yes. Actually, before just this meeting, we got another application. So I'll speak about the one that was approved yesterday, right? So his name is Alex. He has been trying to get admission to University of Niagara Falls, and they rejected the application. So when he listened to us the first time here, he reached out and we had a section. So I told him to walk me through his profile. So he mentioned that he studied a particular degree back home, and of course, he's also doing a degree here in Niagara College. So I said, okay, let me have the document. Upon review the document, I made a case for him. So the case was simple. So I sent an email telling the school that this person is already studying in Canada. Consider the fact that upon graduation, he will be qualified to go in for the program. And the case was accepted, and the client was giving a conditional offer on the ground that once he's done with his Niagara College, he's going to begin immediately the master's program at University of Niagara Falls. He was super happy, and he did give us some good review, which is what we have online. And yes, so that's one of the most important one we had. Another one is a lady that reached out as well. So the lady mentioned that she's gone to various platforms and she was duped just for admission because she paid for an application admission. Should I say she paid a fee to get an admission, which is interesting. And she's 52. She had a third class, but then upon getting the admission from the organization, it's not true. It's fake. And she reached out to me over the weekend, and I said, you know what, let me review the document. Upon reviewing the document, I saw that, okay, she has interest to go in for early child education, being that she has a bit of a study gap. We put in an application for her and we got the admission the next day. So I applied on Saturday. On Monday, we got the admission. She was a bit surprised that it's too good to be true. But then I said, it depends, right? First, we understand where you're coming from, what you're doing, and what you intend to do. So putting a good case for people is what we do. So one of the unique proposition with ImmiBuddy is that when you submit the application, I look through it. Now, just before this meeting, so a user submitted an application to 4 schools. Upon reviewing the CGPA, reviewing the resume of the client, and I advise that based on what I'm seeing, you should apply for this program as this academic award scholarship. Immediately responded, and I'll tell you, like just before this meeting, he got a $4,500 academic scholarship and the admission within 24 hours. I sent the admission letter to him. We're definitely going to share that. Just that I couldn't share now as we're just having this meeting, this YouTube live. So yes.
All right, thank you, Doc, for the update there regarding those who have started benefiting from ImmiBuddy. If today is your first time watching, my name is Choco Millionaire, your host, and I have Dr. Harrison, a licensed Canadian immigration consultant, and also one of the lead guys at ImmiBuddy, helping you to submit your applications to several schools here in Canada in order to study. They will also go beyond that. The immigration side of Dr. Harrison is called Rae Immigration Services. They are there to help many of you who need immigration consultations here and there. All you need to do is to talk to them. If you look on the screen, the banner scrolling down there, you will notice that there is some kind of good news for those of you who are looking to also consult with them. Doc, can you briefly talk about that?
Okay, so
Yeah.
the first time we came live, we gave the opportunity to everyone to use a promo code to book a meeting with us the whole of March, and we got quite a number of appointments. So this time around, we're saying that, okay, you know what, we're coming back to give you the good news or still talk to you, but we're giving out a 50% discount on our consultation fees. Now, it's a fastest finger kind of situation, as we are opening it just from today to end of month, and it's strictly for April. Just the first 50 users will benefit from this, and we're going to be sharing it as well for everyone to partake in it. Yes, thank you.
Great. It can be very expensive booking an appointment to speak with an immigration consultant, so I appreciate you giving a discount there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, today's topic, there is an update that we had a record refusal rate in 2024, and that also seems to be in sync with the drop in the population of temporary residents living in Canada. We understand that the numbers have gone down by as much as 30,000 people living in Canada as temporary residents, if you compare to the same data a year before, around 2023, thereabout. So the correlation here is that the high visa or high records we are seeing for visa refusal could be due to a couple of factors. And I think today you want us to look at just one specific area.
Yes. So I'll be sharing a bit of a slide. So what we're looking at here today, I'll be talking strictly on study permits, right?
Okay.
So why we're doing that is because as relating to ImmiBuddy, most of our users are students. Now, the fact that we're focusing on study permit doesn't mean that this is not relatable to visitors visa applicants as well. So on the financial side of things, so we're looking at the visa refusers. If I can push my screen up.
Yes, you can do that.
Okay, so it's already live. So so we're looking at visa refusers, top reasons, and how to overcome them. Now, I'm going to share a slide first, and this is going to just give you reasons on why refusers. Then I'm going to present some case studies. Now, first, pre-existing low balances, followed by sudden lump sum deposits. Now, this one is very important here. I've seen a lot of bank statements over the few years of practicing. You see someone that has, let's take for instance, a Nigerian that has a bank account that has 100,000 month by month or 1,000. Then all of a sudden you're noticing 10 million, 5 million, 20 million, and the person would decide to apply without bank statement. Now there's a problem there. You don't have a consistent flow of that lump sum, and all of a sudden the money is coming in and you want to apply. That is a red flag. So you have this first statement on your refuser when you go for the GCMS, know that there's previously low balances and of course lump sum deposits. Now let's look at the large unexplained deposit. This go in line with the first one. So this is basically people that always come in and say, oh, they liquidate an asset from an investment, they sold the land. Now if you look at the tray of their bank statement as well, because I always look at the audit tray and look at the financial net worth of that person based on what they're presenting. Yes, indeed, one can have savings over time, but then you see how that savings has been accumulated over time. But in this case, 50 million coming from nowhere and you've never maintained 1 million naira in your account. That is also a big red flag. Now, funds in accessible format. So I'll tell you, like mostly those from Ghana, I have noticed when you submit your application, yes, Nigeria is a bit 50-50. When you submit your application and you include Treasury B, mutual funds, and all those investment certificates, they don't accept it as a satisfactory source of income or explanation to income, right? Once you have your pension, so I tell people pension and investment, they are just tied to home country. They are not available funds, right? When we talk about Canada, we're talking about the money that is readily available for you to undergo this education, not the one that you are hoping that will grow and you can hold on to. Let's take for GIC, for instance. We open a GIC in Canada. What happened first? Upon coming to Canada, you're giving about 14,000 thereabouts, and month by month, you'll pay the certain amount of money. That is an investment that has accessibility to funds. But the ones we see from Africa are the ones that, oh, treasury be investment. Some people go as put in their pension. Pension is not readily available unless you resign, I suppose, right? So then this is another problem we see. Now, short bank history. So short bank history could be people that are putting in 2 months that are not too aware of the minimum statement required. Now, there's a country by country requirement. The optimal is 6 months, right? But more million in your closing balance is 40 million, right? Now you can see that you had opening balance quite low. But if you have a situation whereby your opening balance is that 4 million, then over 4 to 6 months, the balance has increased over time. So maybe 60 million. That makes a lot of sense, right? So ensure that you avoid putting bank statement that is less than 4 months. And also check the country specific requirement to know if you're required to put 6 months or 4 months. Now, third party sponsor, this is really interesting because I have recently, before now and the conversation I've had, I've heard people coming in that are rejected, and I asked the question, financially, who was your sponsor? They said, my brother. What did you submit in terms of documentation? They say, I put in picture and affidavit. Okay, how do I know? How would the officer know that this person is your brother? Right? Birth certificate is very, very key. A birth certificate that shows both paternal and maternal parents, linking both of you as siblings. For instance, it's very key. So let's give another example whereby you have uncle, right? Please create a relationship tree. How is this uncle related to you? If the uncle is from your mom's side, your mom's birth certificate, your birth certificate, and your uncle's birth certificate showing that your uncle and your mom are from one place, right? And are brothers or sisters or their family, right? Blood related. And that's where the officer could easily tell that, okay, these guys are related, right? Rather than coming in and you have a first far cousin, you cannot explain the relationship and you come in and say this person is your sponsor. So it must not be it's your brother first, or it's your sister, it's your uncle or auntie. It could be your boss, it could be your godfather, it could be your godmother. There need to be some certification or document to prove that. Affidavit of relationship is very important. If you're Catholic, we have this godfather, the godmother situation, a document to show that, pictures to show when you're being baptized, this godfather was actually present because that's the law, right? Or that's the way it works. When you're being baptized, if you're Catholic, most times the godfathers are there or godmother, they are there. So those things will help to build some strong case to help clarify the sponsorship issue. Now, insufficient funds. Now, what I've also seen that most people, they present a bank statement that is not even up to the required amounts. I'm going to talk about solutions later. So, up to the required amount being that what is required for tuition, what is required for living expense, and what is required for travel cost. And the last one is the fraudulent or altered document, fake bank statement. I've seen a procedural fairness given to someone and the person was banned for 5 years due to fake bank statement. I've seen false sponsorship letter as well, same problem. I've seen falsified GCMS notes. I've seen fake letter of acceptance issues. And of course, this will lead to immediate refusal and potential 5 years ban. You be careful when you present your document. Be ensure that it's legit and is original. So I'm going to look into some case studies here so that we can see what is coming from the visa office. So first one, right? Proof of fund on file, insufficient supporting document on file to establish business relationship between the applicant and the source of fund. A fund will be sufficient and available for the whole course. I have concerned the funds are for demonstration purposes. So this problem here is that this person have a lot of money, but unable to explain the source of income. How did you come about this money? You cannot just bring 7 to 10 accounts, 100 million, $100,000, $50,000. How did you make this money? What's your genuine source of income? You need to show it. It's one thing to have money, it's another thing to have a clear source of income. If you can't show how you made this money, it looks like so the word demonstration, you're just presenting a statement to get the visa. Then when you get to Canada, you're stranded, right? I know the law says that the first year tuition, first year upkeep and all that, but then the question is, if you have provided the first year, how about the second year? How do you expect to take care of yourself? That is why the source of income is important, to see continuity of funds while you're studying. Now, The second one said the applicant asset, whatever, said PA appeared to have moderate funds. However, insufficient of document to pertain to source. Again, source of income. But in this case, this is not a prevailing balance, a low balance. This is a situation of the funds are there, but not too high. There are lump sums still coming in as well, but the source is not clear enough. And this is another case. Both GCMS know different applicants. Now, if you look at this one said the applicant asset, whatever. So proof of fund from file, third party uncle. Insufficient supporting document or file to establish relationship. Like I mentioned, this person was unable to prove the relationship between her and or him and the uncle. So it's very important to make sure that the information you're providing is clear, straightforward, and also the source of income of that person is sponsoring you. So one, you provide the relationship document. Birth certificate is a good go-to document. You can prove the relationship. So when I say birth certificate, again, if it's your uncle, is it related to your dad or your mom? So if it's your dad, for instance, your dad's birth certificate, your birth certificate, and his birth certificate, then affidavit of sponsorship to show that this person can afford to take, has agreed to take care of your educational expense, and prove a source of income for that person. So that's the way it works. So you need to present clear document to show the relationship. Now, this one, they said applicant have provided financial document, have considered your authenticity of accounts. So this is a situation of credibility. They don't believe that this account statement provided is original. So with this, if you're from Nigeria and Ghana, Ghana some banks, but with Nigeria, my bank statement is your go-to. I always tell all my clients, you must provide, if you're from Nigeria, you must provide my bank statement. My bank statement is the document that is issued from the bank straight to the embassy, and the ticket is generated for you to submit with your application. That way they can log in and verify that account. So you avoid this kind of rejection if that is provided. Not all banks in Ghana do this, but some do. But in Nigeria, a lot of top commercial banks are currently doing this. So you want to avoid this. And I always tell, if you're submitting a study permit or any application, even to PR application, we do include my bank statement. We don't want to situation whereby the account is not clear enough, the statement is not clear enough due to compressing of document, or there's a credibility issue that this document is not from the bank. So once you send my bank statement, they log in and they check it themselves. So one thing I always do, when I send my bank statement, I still get the generated bank app, which a bank statement that is signed, attached as well, just in case the bank statement that is going in, the officer that used it did not cover the whole period you requested for. We've seen a case like that whereby the officer sent just 1 month instead of 4 months. Now, if you have a company bank account statement, that could help you save any issues of rejection due to limited bank, a shortage of, or should I say, short period of statement. So if we proceed to the next one, this one said does not appear reasonable. So I would say this. Another situation we've noticed, which I'm going to talk about, is career mismatch. So career mismatch is a situation whereby you studied engineering, but let's just say you didn't work as an engineer, but you're working in the bank as a teller or commercial bank marketing officer, anything. But then you decide that because Canada has focused on 6 categories, you want to study PSW. Now, this is something we noticed a lot during reviewing of applications that were coming into our portal. A lot of people that we saw a CV, the person is studying economics, a data analyst, applying for PSW. So in my mind, I was like, what are you expecting? So yes, we'll do our job to get you the admission. But however, when you go for the visa, you might have a rejection because your career is not aligning. Your course of study doesn't even match with what you are doing or what you study. Now, there's 2 things here. You can study economics. Probably you work as a cashier, or probably you work as a, let's say you work as a transport manager, for instance. But then bear in mind, if you're not coming in to study a course that is in line with what you're doing as a career or what you studied before, but then it's more important to look at what you're doing as a career and where you're heading. That is why the career objective is very important. The career plan and your study plan is very important. So you don't just pivot or move from what you studied, what you're doing, and you move straight to PSW because you think that when you study PSW in Canada, automatically you'll be able to get a PR. That's not the way to go. Then you're not ready to come to Canada in the first place to study. So this one said relationship between PA and spouse not well established. I mean, PA and sponsor. So this is another relationship issue as well. The documents submitted, evidence that were provided were not included, clear enough, the birth certificate. Yes, affidavit will be there, but birth certificate is very important. The other one spoke about lump sum deposits and pre-existing low balances. Like as I mentioned from the beginning, this is another situation as well. We've noticed this is the pre-existing low balance is the bulk rejection kind of situation. You might just have 6 applications rejected because of that at once, because they've noticed it. So the purpose is, so this one has to do with course of study again. So this person, I had a opportunity to speak with this person. This person is a leader, or should I say a manager in HRO. She applied for Master of Leadership and Ministry in Canada. And look at what the officer did. Went to the website of the university and searched for that program. And he read, it said, applicant work experience does not state any relevant work in ministry. It said, DLI website indicated that course is to prepare students for leadership in professional ministries. Now, this officer went as far as checking the website of the school to be sure that this program is not just exclusive to ministries, right? It's for anyone that's probably need a Master of Leadership. So be careful out there. Yes, you want a Master of Leadership. Be careful the title. If it's just a Master of Leadership, that's fine. Or Master in Leadership, that's fine. But most times they go and check the course, the syllabus, the overview of this program you're going in for, to be sure that is in line with your study plan. So I always tell people, when you write your SOP, which is statement of purpose, your study plan should be you reviewing the syllabus of that program and you're aligning it with what you're doing and where you intend to go and the impact of that program to you. So why are you taking this program in the first place? What do you aim to achieve after post-graduation, right? It's very important you do that. Now, let's what that one said, purpose application is not consistent. So applicants are applying to study plumbing. So this one is very important because I had a chat with this person as well. This person initially applied to Canada to study computer information systems. So upon rejection, immediately apply for plumbing because they've switched the rule that they've removed the STEM. They've reduced the STEM programs in the PR process. Then there's trade, right? We have plumbing as trade. And the person immediately went in for plumbing and was rejected. So I asked the question. So your career, you're in computer. You've initially applied to study computer. You got rejection. Immediately you saw that PRO system has changed. You switched to plumbing. You're expecting them to give you the visa, right? Now, I know the rejection rate has gone up. Any little error, you'll be rejected, but we'll be careful what we submit, right? Ensure that your career objective and what you're going in for is in line. So don't give them reason to just reject you in a way that you don't have a case in court, right? You don't, if you want to go for a reconsideration later request, it's very difficult because it's obvious why your rejection happened. So this GCMS note you're seeing here are just a good example of what we're facing. Now, the last one is the applicant assets insufficient. Now, what they did in this one is interesting. I know there's something they did here. They went as far as checking Momo transfers. I know Momo, I'm not familiar with I've not been to Nigeria for quite some time, but I was there recently, but I've heard of Momo a lot. And there's a thing in Ghana, and there's a thing in Nigeria through MTM, stuff like that. So if the officer knows about Momo, so they checked it first. The first problem is no relationship proof. The second problem is the Momo transfer coming in. So is it like a banking that you just type some code, something like that? No clear description or purpose of payment. The transfers are just coming in and looks fishy. So we'll be careful what we present in terms of financial document. Now, what are the solutions? As said, first, maintain consistent financial history, build savings gradually over time, avoid sudden lump sum deposit before applying, provide supporting documents for all funds, give deed. This number 2, I didn't want to put it in, but I want to be very clear here. We've seen a lot of people coming in, oh, I sold property, oh, give deed, oh, this, that. The embassy or the officers have seen a lot of this, and they are finding it a bit hard to believe that most of the documents are true. So because you see a lot of rejection, you find out, okay, what did you do? I sold the land 60 million and I presented land of deed of sales, deed of ownership, deed of deed. And they would write there that the evidence provided is not satisfactory. So you be careful you go for this. This would be if and only if you need to go for this, right? Use only accessible liquid funds. Savings checking accounts are provided over locked investment wherever. Avoid third-party sponsor or less properly documented. Include proof of relationship, financial record, and legal commitments. All should be notarized. Now, include full coverage of tuition. Your tuition fee, if GIC is available to you, do it, but it's not a must. Living expense, travel funds. Said never use fake documents. I beg of you, never use fake documents. It's very important you run away from anyone that is telling you that, you know what, Just give me your passport, I will give you visa. I've heard a lot of people say, I asked the question, so what did you do for this? What did you provide as documents? I say, no, I just gave my passport, blah, blah, and you're expecting a visa, right? Someone has tried to prepare all these things for you in terms of packaging, whatever, for you to travel. Now, if you need to work with a consultant, that is, you cannot do it yourself. If you need to work with anyone, please, is either you're working with a lawyer that is into immigration law, or someone that is authorized to practice as immigration consultant. And there are ways to check these things out. Don't fall from any quick fix person around you. It's very important you run away from them, please. Now, one thing you should know about that is, yes, they can get you the visa, but then there's what called misrepresentation. Misrepresentation means that there's a place you always ask, is anyone assisting you for this visa? And you say no. They will say no because they created an account for you. You don't know if whatever they're reading. Now, however, if someone is assisting you, even when you do a visa application for your mom, you are supposed to declare that you're assisting your mom and present a use of representative document. There are two sections. One, if just family and friends, you're not paid, unpaid, you can tick that and put in your name as a rep. Two, paid. That means you're consultant or immigration lawyer. And that's to say that only immigration consultant and immigration lawyer that are allowed to receive any form of payment for visa process, application process when it comes to Canada. So I just want to show the last part, which talks about financial requirements. So this is the table. How do you know how much you need? Now, this site has been out there since January 2024 first. So for the first person, this is the upkeep. For when you're 2, that's what you need. And up to when you're 7, and if any additional person is coming in, that's what you need. So the last slide is case study 1. Your tuition is $15,000. Cost of living, $26.35 as your one person. Travel allowance, $2,000. Let's say that's your travel cost, flight ticket, and all that. You need about $37,635. So how does this work? If this is what you need, that means that if you pay your first year tuition, you deduct it from the total cost of proof of fund. Whatever that is left is what you need. If you create a GIC account, you also remove that fraction as well. Whatever that is left is what you need, right? The second example is you're more than one person, you have someone else with you. The only thing that increase is just your upkeep, cost of living for the first year in Canada. So with that, I would say that's all from me. If you have any question, I'm open to take them. Thank you. Yes, I'm open to take any questions.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I think we had issues with the sound there. So all right, guys, thank you so much.
They said they couldn't hear me for a long time, I think. I'm just a message.
They couldn't hear you for a long time?
Yes, I don't know if I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know. But I guess were you able to hear what I was saying?
This is a live broadcast. Please comment below if the audio came through good for you. If you're watching, wherever you're watching from, please comment below. Were you following the conversation? He was going through the reasons for the refusals. Please let me know if this came to you pretty good. All right, I'm looking on the screen to see if I can get some confirmations there. Can you hear?
Okay, it was fixed, so I'm getting a response.
So we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Now the reasons you gave for the refusal are quite exhaustive. That's quite a lot. Now, a lot of people may not understand why all this proof and proof and proof and proof. If I submit bank statement, shouldn't that be enough? But I think there is a reason why, because they may have seen a trend where students were coming through, no shows here and there, and a whole lot. And then they are just wondering, but these folks probably may have told us that they have the money to study. They have the money to pay. Is that the case, Doc?
Yes, that's the case, right? So we know that there's no smoke without fire, they say. I've read a case law that, or an argument posted publicly that when a European is applying to study in Canada, assuming allegedly they could forget about bank statement and get the visa approved. I'm just quoting, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that because they believe that they definitely going to go to school and take care of their fees. I'm just saying, right? But when it comes to Africa, even when you show a lot of millions, I've seen people providing hundreds of millions, but they could not even pay the first tuition deposit. They will go for school of $0 down payment. So the officer will think that if I give this person the visa, if you have so much money, you couldn't pay tuition and you want to come study. It doesn't make sense. And a lot of cases, of course, coming in, you saw 2023, 2024, high rise of students seeking asylum. If you submitted your visa, you said you had the funds. So why are you asking for protection, right? Why are you asking for that? So it's a situation that they've seen a lot. Even the universities are complaining that students are not paying the fees, and it's just too much from Africa. Yeah.
All right, and aside from Africa, I think we can also include Asia too, right?
Asians, yes, of course. Yeah,
We've
yeah.
got India, we've got Pakistan, Bangladesh.
That I don't want to just go into that. So yeah, they are they are leading when it comes to yeah, yes.
That is true. So there's a question here. Let me take this question. Kingsman Aqua Edu has a question. Could there be a justifiable reason for a career switch, and would they be acceptable?
Yes, there is a justifiable reason. Now I'll tell people, right? Let's take my case for instance. I pivoted. Once an environmental scientist and now immigration consultant. Why? Because I had passion helping people. So my case is different. If you can't present your case clearly, right? Now I would say because I wouldn't want to say because you're coming from Africa, but you must show the interest alone is not just writing. Voluntary, you've made some move, certification, right? You've made some efforts on your own before applying for that program. That would make more sense. Rather than I had a client that she studied political science and wanted nursing. What she did was before coming to us was she did what we call auxiliary nursing, which is just a normal training, and did internship, not a job. And you know what? She got admission to study nursing at college level, and she got the visa. Clearly, that person moved, right? But she made some effort before coming in for the visa. Don't just expect to know nothing. No, the history is you're working as a scientist, and all of a sudden you want to become a weather. Your CV is showing all that. When you filled your application, you stated you're currently working as a scientist. So why are you moving to PSW immediately? Right? So justification is very important. Yes.
Yeah. So it's fair to assume that it's not like the government of Canada does not want people to change careers.
Yeah.
But they're just looking at the reasonable logic behind it.
Exactly.
See whether there is a genuine reason or interest in studying that course, or there is a dual intent, correct?
That is correct. That is absolutely correct, yes.
All right. Evangelist G.N. Ohakwe, please, can you talk about bank draft from Canada? I wish Evangelist had explained this a little bit more.
I will talk about it. I've experienced a bank draft. So we have this bank draft thing in Canada. So a lot of people cannot do GIC, mostly those from Ghana and the rest. So most of them resort to bank draft, which I've seen a case, right? A bank draft is just like someone saying, so when you do a bank draft, they always do it in trust. So trust being that if the visa goes wrong, the person can go back and cash the money back, right? Because you're not here, right? So you give a bank draft to someone that is not here, there's no way the money come back to you. So it doesn't still make the money available. It's just a temporary measure to show that you've made commitment. So the question is, why do bank draft? If the person really wants to give you the money, put the money towards your tuition, right? Because if you do a bank draft, that means a temporary measure, right? You don't intend to give the money then. right? So they've seen all this. They know that this is not going to work. It might work for some people, but not in all cases. Yes.
So I think it's also good to add that this country uses data a lot. So it's not like they just got up and started making the decisions, right? They may have looked at the history.
The trend.
What this applicant, this student was supposed to be in school. They didn't go to school. Why? Let's look at the students. Probably let's look at the students' application, previous application. These students said they had a bank draft ready to go to school, and then they came and then they didn't go to the school.
They didn't go to school.
Right? No reasons provided to maybe IRC.
And the worst case, will not seek asylum the next few months.
Yeah,
right?
So this could be some of the reasons for the change.
Yeah, this could be some of the reasons. Yes, that's correct.
Good. Let's see if there is another question here. What if, in terms of visitors, in case you are given invitation to come to Canada, how much funds do I need, or what are the things do I need to provide to the one given invitation?
Okay, so let's talk about the funds for invitation when you are a tourist, right? Or you're coming in for something. So if the invitation depends on two factors, is accommodation provided? Let's assume no, right? So you go look for a hotel reservation. It has a price. One, you write that down, your financial budget. So X amount is for hotel. You go for flight reservation. X amount is for flight. I always tell people, gone are those days I'll tell people budget $100 Canadian per day for feeding. So you might want to over budget in this case, maybe $150 or $200 per day, based on the number of days you're staying for your feeding. So you estimate that. Then, is there any tourism thing coming on board? Are you going to see some nice attractions? Go and make the reservations and put in the cost. Now, when you put that total cost, you see the cost you're spending, then you can just top it up with 10 to 20% of what you have in your bank statement. You should be fine in terms of finances. So that is finances, yes.
Thank you. Prince Fiajigbe, great piece of information, Dr. Tigiri. For someone who has secured a fully funded scholarship, what else should be and what else should he or she add to make for the proof of funds requirement?
This is a tricky one, but I'll tell you something. You must be ready. Now, ready in the sense that let's assume that I've seen a situation whereby people come in to study and they couldn't meet the academic requirements to maintain the scholarship. Of course, there's no more scholarship. What happens then? They're stranded, right? As much as you have a scholarship provided, which is fully funded in this case, I would advise, it's a cautionary advice. Don't say that you can't proceed, right? But it's also very important to also show that just in case you're unable to meet the conditions to keep the scholarship, there is a fund. I'll give you a case study. There's a client that came in. The client got a full scholarship, but the university required to make a commitment fee just to show that they're serious. So the client paid the regular $500 and went to apply for the visa. The visa officer requested that pay the first year. The client ignored and was rejected 3 times and came to me. I said, they only told you what to do. Pay the first year. University already give you this, the refund, but you refuse to do that. What I'm trying to say next is that there's still some level of financial commitment from you. You can always go out of that scholarship if you don't maintain your academic path. So let's say you're first class or your second class upper, you got a scholarship, you came in and you're performing so badly that it's even difficult for the professor to keep you in the system. You go out of it. What happens in that case? So these are the things you should consider when using even a scholarship to apply for visa study permit.
Thank you, Dr. Harrison. Now, I must also add, as a former student who also came on scholarship, that most scholarships in Canada are not comprehensive, covering both tuition and living expenses. Scholarships will typically cover significant or some portion of your tuition. It may not cover your ancillary charges or costs, such as your books and your bus and stuff like bus pass and stuff like that. All right. And then you have your living expenses. Where do I lay my head? You need to rent. Your food, right? Your clothing and stuff like that. Most scholarships do not cover this. Most universities or government will provide funding to just cover the cost of a tuition, either in full or in part. So therefore, there is always a likelihood that you will still need to provide some additional financial resources to take care of your own personal needs when you are in Canada. Remember, if you want to go to the club or use an Uber, your scholarship is not going to cover that. You got to prove that you have extra money for your own self, aside from the school fees. Praise. Fiajibe, I hope that helps there. Keep your questions coming. If you just join in, I have Dr. Harrison, his second appearance on this channel. And what are we talking about? We are trying to explore the possible reasons for visa refusals. The data coming out for the end of 2024 suggests that there is a 50% refusal rate here in Canada. That is an increase of about 15%. The previous year, 2023, was 35% visa refusal. Now it stands at 50%. Will this trend continue? What could be some of the reasons why visas are getting refused? 5 out of 10 are getting refused, for instance. And today we are discussing proof of funds related issues or bank statement related issues. Keep your questions coming. Please also make sure to hit the like button. Those of you who have done that, I can see it on the screen. Much love to all of you. Share it as well in your social media or WhatsApp or Telegram groups so others can learn from it. You may have also noticed that Dr. Harrison shared case studies. Now, these case studies are GCMS note. A lot of people do not understand what a GCMS note is. When you apply for a visa, you get a generic response refusal slip, and then there is something called a GCMS. Doc, if you can just explain the two so that those who don't really see the importance of what we are doing now, what's the key difference between the refusal slip and the GCMS note?
So when you submit an application, it goes into a global case management system, the word GCMS in full. What you're actually applying for is the ATIP, which is access to information rather. So now, when you get a refusal, it's generic. With that, the visa officer analysis is not there, right? It's just a template, right? You can just, somebody that is refused due to family sponsorship or maybe proof of relationship is not provided, they will tell you income, insufficient income. But then you have the money, you'll be wondering why. Because you think it's sufficient income, which you've seen, you immediately go back and submit a new application by putting more money into your account. I've seen that as well. Now, when you apply for a GCMS loan, which takes about almost 30 days, once it's back, be patient. You will see the clear reason why you were rejected. So when you're doing a reapplication, your goal is to clarify those concerns. Don't rush and increase the money in your account because you're going to create new problem. If there's a lump sum problem already, it's going to be more lump sums. So be careful and apply for it. So there are a lot of ways you can apply. As a matter of fact, you can apply for yourself. It is free if you do it yourself. It comes to you. Or you can use platforms that probably they will charge you for that, right? So there are ways to apply for that. So go for it first before going in for a second application. Yes.
All right. Blessed son, please, is tax clearance certificate compulsory for business owners?
Okay. That's
a business owner who also wants to come and study in Canada or visit Canada.
So
tax clearance, yeah.
It's not part of a required document, right? I already speak to one of my immigration lawyer friend. I will just talk about this rejections. Like, it's not part of it, right? However, you're a business owner, you should be compliant because Canada will pay taxes, right? So part of the thing is the compliance. So we've seen a lot of rejection that we see tax clearance, pay stubs, pay slips. If your case is strong, you can win it because there are some taxes that are from source, right? For a business owner, it's good to be compliant, right? So that just adds to your strength of application, not that it's a requirement. It is not a requirement, yes.
Great, thank you very much. Boobies Jobs, please, I need clarification regarding this reason for rejection. You have not submitted written, so this is a quote, you have not submitted written documentation from the educational institution where you intend to study. That states that you have been, so where is it? 1 second, let me just pull it up. Boobies Jobs, okay. Please, I need clarification regarding this reason for rejection. And the quote is here. You have not submitted written documentation from the educational institution where you intend to study. That states that you have been accepted to study there. What do you think is the reason for this rejection? I am 100% sure of uploading acceptance letter with the tuition fees paid to the school. So,
okay. So there are two things here, right? This is institution of letter of acceptance. So we have two types of letters. Some institutions give one letter. So the first letter is conditional offer of admission, which just tells you go and pay tuition. And there's a second letter, which is letter of acceptance. Now, there are some schools, they give you both two in one. You can, and they stated clearly that you use this letter for IRCC. So I cannot tell completely because, of course, I'm not seeing your documentation if you actually use the letter of acceptance from the institution or you use the letter of offer of admission, right? It could be a mistake situation whereby you uploaded the letter of offer of admission rather than letter of acceptance. So because if you get the letter of acceptance, clearly they're not going to give you this reason. You really
All right, all right. The letter of offer or the offer letter is most of the time conditional.
Conditional, yes.
That you need to pay a certain amount or provide a certain document by a certain date. And it is only when those conditions are satisfied, then the school provides you with the official letter of acceptance, correct? All right, thank you. Now, you went through a couple of cases. I also opened a bunch of GCMS notes that I have on my phone. So let me just go through one of them. I have reviewed the application. I have considered the following factors in my decision. Applicant's self/uncle to financially sponsor. Bank statements on file. Beyond a written indication, there is no other documentation substantiating the relationship between principal applicant and the sponsor based on the documentation on the file and the limited information demonstrating the nature of relationship between the applicant and the sponsor. I have concerns that the third-party funds will be sufficient and available for the proposed studies. Weighing the factors in this application, I'm not satisfied that the applicant will depart Canada at the end of the period authorized for their stay. For this reason, for the reasons above, I have refused the application. So here, it's a lack of proof of relationship. Now, exactly. A lot of people don't understand. It's, if I have a bank statement and I told you that it's coming from here, like, why do I have to prove? I think the reason is that a lot of people actually procure bank statement through different ways and use it just to convince the officer that the funds will be available. But the truth is that the funds may actually not be available when school starts and the visas have been issued to them. Is that the case, though?
Yeah, it's the case. A lot of cases I presented, I would say that. So I'll tell people this: your uncle want to sponsor you, right? Good. First, let's prove the relationship. Secondly, can your uncle put this money in your account? When I ask you and you say no, then I ask again: are you sure your uncle actually want to sponsor you, or you just provided account for demonstration purpose? Right now, the issue here is a relationship problem, right? There's no relationship proof. I said it. If it's your uncle, who is your uncle related to? Is it your mom or dad? So how do you solve this? Your birth certificate showing your dad or mom. If it's your mom, showing your mom's name, your dad's name, then your mom's birth certificate, because it's going to have the same maternal paternal parent with your uncle, and your uncle's birth certificate. That's first way to prove it. And I'm not going to buy the certificate you did affidavit of whatever. The birth certificate that was given at birth. Now, there are cases where they are probably not available. You could have an affidavit to that effect, but that's just not all. Pictures. Is your uncle. He wants to sponsor you. Then your uncle definitely knows you. Where are pictures between you, your uncle at birth, when you were small, right? Pictures of your uncle and your mom growing up, right? Show these things. Then later of affidavit cannot come in. They need to see not just birth certificate. Beyond that, pictures you can't edit the picture of 1994. Let's say you can, let's assume, but there are some similarities you see, the face of people on the passport. So since your uncle is close to your mom's passport data page is also very important just to show identity issue here. Your uncle's passport data page to show that he's the one that signed that document, right? So the passport data page has the face and the signature. So the affidavit you're sending in signed, right? So to show identity. So these are very important documents you provide when you're proving relationship, and that could help to solve a relationship problem.
Okay, can we just dwell on the importance of proving relationship, especially when it comes to family relationship? Because there are all kinds of relationships. There are friendships out there. You may have a friend from school who wants to sponsor you and stuff like that. Why is there that kind of interest in family sponsorships or relations sponsoring, especially if the applicant does not have the resources in full?
Well, I think their next go-to if the father and mother is not available is their immediate family, since the relationship can be proven easily. You can prove it easily, right? It's not easy to prove a distance person as a sponsor. So I've seen obvious case whereby the auntie wants to actually sponsor someone for the family, and it was approved. So yes, a family can decide to sponsor, and that is okay, right? So that is why you see a lot of them, right? So if your family, the next course of action is your family, because that's the closest. So why do I say that's the best way out? Because there's a question of why you. I was asked this question when I applied for my first visa. So not me, but I heard someone being okay. Yeah, it was asked. Was so it was part. My uncle was part sponsor. Why me? He has a family. Why you?
Why you?
Right? So the why you is very important as well, apart from just for relationship. So they know that a family related member could have a logical and justifiable reason to sponsor you than a distance cousin or a friend. So I think that is why a lot of it we see a lot of them, and yeah, I don't know if that answers the question. Yeah.
All right. So there are some who may have been refused a visa because they were sponsored by non-family relations, a best friend, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or even the bosses at work. There are some bosses who say, you know what, I really want to sponsor and stuff like that. Is it the easiest to prove or the most difficult to prove in terms of getting there?
Obviously, it's the most difficult. I got one where a boyfriend sponsored actually, so we got that approved actually. But there was a series of documentation in play, right? So not just the boyfriend, so the boyfriend, the uncle, both of them came together to sponsor. So when you have those third parties coming in and they are providing bank statement, that is where you have a big problem. If this person wants to sponsor you, let the person make the financial commitment, show the movement of money, and use that money to pay your fees, to do GIC, to do something. Then the money has been committed for this purpose. Now you are making a lot of sense. Because if you're just providing a statement that a boyfriend or friend, uncle, or boss at work, I don't know, but the question of why you is very important. And if this person is actually committed to sponsor you because of the relationship you have, I'm saying there are genuine reasons here, genuine people there. Tell this person to make this commitment towards your school. Don't go in and expect to get the visa, then the person will pay. That wouldn't work. It's very difficult to prove, yes.
All right. I have one more here that I like to read. I have considered the positive factors outlined by the applicant, including statements or other evidence. The applicant has provided a reason for their visit to Canada. The applicant is employed. However, I have given less weight to the positive factors for the following reasons. One, I have the applicant's assets and financial situation are insufficient to support the stated purpose of travel for the applicant and any other accompanying family members, if applicable. Funded by spouse. So the applicant is funded by spouse who is employed in United Arab Emirates, submitted bank statement with modest balance and proof of property. Taking the applicant's plan of studies into account, the documentation provided in support of the applicant's financial situation does not demonstrate that funds will be sufficient or available. I am not satisfied that the proposed studies will be a reasonable expense. Weighing the factors in this application, I'm not satisfied that the applicant will depart Canada. And so because of that, is refused. So this person is coming to study. They are coming from a country that I see here, Africa, but their partners or their spouses are in the United Arab Emirates, provided a proof of an asset, which is a property, and a modest bank statement. The question here again is the availability or the of the funds and the sufficiency of it.
There are two things I see there, sir. So the first thing that flagged that application is ties to home country was the first problem there. So that flagged that application immediately and they start paying attention to other things. Now, this person, I don't know if he's married or have kids. The spouse is in Dubai, you're based in Africa, and you're traveling to Canada to study. So look at it. No relationship back home. Nothing will bring you back. So that's the first problem there. That is a silent problem that was not reviewed, but that's a big problem there. Secondly, you're providing funds. You don't have the available funds to study. So personally, you don't have things. I don't know the detail of the documentation provided. So what is it that you provided on your own end that shows your financial economic tie to that the country you're coming from? And two, how was the fund that was provided by your spouse presented? Right? That the funds just from bank statement and here we go. Let's go. We've got a school, we've paid tuition deposit. Let's go get the visa. Right? So again, if a spouse is coming in, or if there's a sponsor, maybe a family related, or your spouse is coming in to put in application, it's not just enough. You as well is also important. You show tie, but in this case, there is no tie. there's a tie, but the tie is obviously silent there, right? Because if the partner was based in the same place with you, it will be less considered this bad. They will know that, okay, this person is paying for your fees to go. There's an obligation to this person to come back to this person, right? But then the person is based in Dubai, and we know how it is in Dubai. Their permit is not really, I don't know if that permit was submitted. It could be that the permit will expire in 6 months or 1 year. It's always very short, right? So the partner probably stay in that place is not strong. I don't know if it's for 5 years, but that is also a consideration I've seen as well, right? So there are a lot of factors here. One, the funds provided were not really readily available to you from your partner's account. Two, the tie to home country is not there as your partner is not in the same location with you. Three, the residence, the status of your partner in that country is also very important, right? Is there like a contract? Is there like is it a permanent full-time role? Is it a contract role? The pay slip you submitted, letter from employer. What is their residential status, right? Residency status. So those are 3 things you consider in this kind of application, and you be careful what you submit, because trust me, they're going to look at it like you want to, let me use the word jackpot.
All right, jackpot. All right, let's look at this one here. Keep your questions coming. If I haven't read your question out, please keep dropping them in.
A lot of questions on YouTube.
Questions. Can you take some of the questions from your end, please?
Oh, okay, let me go and pull it up. So I just got a message that questions are on YouTube. So
all right,
I have to get to YouTube, and I can't see the question, so I need to go to YouTube.
Okay, so let me take this one from Ale Krista Ningo, who is watching from YouTube. So if I understand well, can my best friend deposit some money, then I explain the reasons of the money as being a support, and still attach her sponsorship letter? This coming from Ale Krista Ningo.
Okay, so you're right. Your support or sponsorship letter is one. You said it's your boyfriend, right? Where is the relationship history? So it's what we call proof of relationship. We used that recently to get a visa for someone that's coming to see the girlfriend that has a baby recently, and it was approved. So proof of relationship is very important, right? You're coming in. How long have you guys been dating? So there are a series of precedents, right? So you have pictures, you have text messages, you have chats that you've known this person, just like you're doing a family sponsorship application when you need to prove the marriage is genuine, right? They look at communications. Are there times that this guy has put money in your account 2-3 years ago, right? You cannot just, catch anybody and say it's your boyfriend, right? You need to also prove the series of time you guys have been together and evidence that you have to show that this person is your boyfriend for real. And again, the intention. Why is this person sponsoring you? Is there a future plans of getting married? Are you guys engaged already, or you plan to? Is there like an introduction that has been done with your family member? If there's any, is your family member aware of this person? Is there like an affidavit from your mom, a picture of you and your mom and him, or your dad or your friends to show that this guy is actually dating you, right? You don't just come in and bring in documentation and you think that they will accept you. You need to show that this is for real, because why is this person paying these whole fees? A boyfriend is even more sketchy, knowing that you can just get to Canada and you say, you know what, even people that are married, we had cases, right? You got to Canada, you know what, I'm done. So the risk is to this person. So the visa might want to protect that person in a case, in a way, right? But then I would say that be sure to show that it's not just a boyfriend. It's way more than a boyfriend. There's a plan in place to take the relationship further immediately you're done or while you're here. So that's what I'll say, yeah.
If this boyfriend-girlfriend relationship is involves also a cohabitation, could there be a lease agreement?
Yes, of course.
Lease and stuff could be added, correct?
Exactly. Cohabitation, if there's joint accounts or property. I've seen 2 people in a relationship that got documents with their names together. I've even seen those that registered the business together, their relationship, right? Cohabitation is more like if you live more than 1 year in the Canadian law, you're like kind of not legally married, but in the eyes of the law, you can use that as together, right? So you can provide document that shows that the lease together, utility bills, both names. But we know Africa, I must say, sir, it's hard to see documentation in both names when you're cohabiting. So yeah, you pay attention to that, yes.
All right. Is it fair to assume that if a visa is approved for a boyfriend-girlfriend basis or sponsorship, and you come in and then your boyfriend or your girlfriend dumps you, you cannot go to IRCC and ask for money back?
I don't know about that. It depends if you're right IRCC and say that, you know what, I'm no longer responsible to sponsor this person. So do whatever you so wish.
Yeah, I
But
got you.
that looks funny, but they can actually look for you and send you. But I'm just saying, don't quote me.
Don't take that serious. We just
Yeah.
put it at it. So Karima Salahuddin, if you are liquidating a property, example, vehicles or land, what are the requirements to show? Because it's stated not to go that way due to inability to conveyance.
This is tricky. I when I was preparing my slide, I was like, I should avoid this. But this is something that if I had last year, 10 consultation, 8 sold property. Right? Now, get me right. I'm not saying that it's fake. For real, you did sell that property. However, they've seen it too much, and they must have seen a trend of it not being legit, right? So they assume it as not a satisfactory document, right? That is just the fear here. Not okay. This is what I would say. If you sold the property, this is a way out. Leave the money there for a long period of time, at least 4 months. You sold the property, right? So it's your money, right? Let it stay there for a long period of time. Now it's not saved over time, so you call it savings, right? Then use the statement and show that you sold property some time ago. That would work. Yes.
Great. Doc, can you take this one on the screen?
Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks for this opportunity. I applied for tourist visa some months. My daughter left as PR in Canada. I was denied. I had enough money to cover my trip because I mentioned that my daughter will soon have a baby. This is interesting because I was just dealing with a case like this actually. So there are a lot of factors to consider here. It depends on how the documentation or the application was presented, right? So first, if you take care of your expense, that means, if I understand the word soon, that means your daughter doesn't have a job yet, right? So now the factors, your economic state was looked into in this case, right? If your daughter probably is working in Canada, it won't be that bad. So the economic state is looked into. How much do you have in your account? What's your source of income? What's the tie to home country, right? What's the asset you have, right? So is it that you just have for 10 to few amount of money that you intend to spend? So how about if you stay up to a year, which is possible, right? So they look at the long term. How far can your money in your account take you? That is something you also need to consider. If there's a job in play here from your daughter, they won't be considering all this. They will look at it that since there's a month by month salary, you'll be fine. But if you have, let's say, 20 million naira, I'll use naira for instance, and yes, you can stay with the visitors record, you can stay more than 6 months, and you intend to stay with your daughter just to help out for a long period of time, it becomes a problem to take care of yourself and your daughter. So that's it. I think that could be, but then the GCMS will tell us a more clearer reason why it was rejected.
All right. King David, hello, good day. Please, can a younger sibling male sponsor an elder sister that is above 40?
It is a yes, because if the younger sibling is doing very well and the income source is clear, why not? You can actually go for it. Yes.
All right. Doc might need some water there. Spieth Spade. I have a question though. If someone switches to a new program without completing the second semester of the first program, would they qualify for a 3 years PGWP? Will it be considered an 18-month program or whatnot? I think the answer is no. The first studies was not completed, right? So you definitely will not be graduating from there and will not be given. But if your second program is, say, a 2-year program, depending on the level you are studying, it could potentially give you. If you're doing a master's, which is 2 years, or which is technically an 16-month course or more, then it could. But if your second year program that you are doing is actually, we don't even call it a second year because the first year was
you try to merge both, right? And you forgot that the transcript is what is important here.
The transcript is what matters, showing that you completion, what we call the evidence of completion, right?
Yeah.
The first one was stopped for some reasons. You're starting a brand new one, unfortunately. So unfortunately, that's what it is. All right. Okay. So I'm going to take, there's an interesting GCMS note that I have here. I will read that once I look for another one from Kiabuin Eric. I transferred money from my credit union account to a bank recently. Do I need a bank statement of the credit union and my bank too, or that of the credit union is enough? Talking about credit unions, maybe I should also bring in a microfinance. I have one here. It's pretty related. So let me read this one out. Principal applicant seeks to obtain a college diploma in a business marketing program. See letter of acceptance on file. Principal applicant provided no evidence of having already paid a tuition deposit. Principal applicant provided no personal bank statements to show proof of funds. Principal applicant declared their spouse will be their sponsor and submitted a so and so. I will not mention the name of the microfinance company. It's here. Submitted a so and so microfinance bank statement from the spouse. A microfinance bank statement has been used as a proof of funds, which creates concern. Microfinance banks are unregulated and unreliable, and as the sole source of funds, not enough to satisfy that funds are available or will continue to be available for the duration of the studies. No other proof of funds provided. Weighing the factors, blah, 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 refused. All right.
You've said it all from the GCMS note. When I hear microfinance, I tell you run away. No matter how much you have there, I'm not saying it's not going to be accepted. Don't quote me black and white, but the truth is, from the words stated there, it's not a commercial bank. Anything can happen. So they don't trust that the money will be available in a long term. So a microfinance bank is a no-no for you. In your case, you want to transfer from microfinance to your bank account.
Yeah.
Of course, you show the proof that you had the money in microfinance. Let it show. The time series of money staying there, right? Has it been there for a long time? It's very important. When you made this transfer receipt to your account, then don't immediately use it. It becomes a lump sum in the new account, right? So let it stay there while you're showing that the money came from this source and the money got to that source through this source, right? Be clear with your money. Be clear, because that's the first thing they look at before they start looking at any other thing. So microfinance bank is a no-no for me. Even for PR application, any application when it comes to Canada, don't even go there.
All right. Thank you so much there. If you are enjoying this, don't forget to smash the like button there. It helps us to know that you're really interested in this kind of videos. I also encourage you to use the comment section. Drop your comments. Would you like to see more of these videos with Dr. Harrison? I'll be more than happy to book him to come in to discuss more areas or different areas of visa refusal from his perspective as somebody who sees a lot more than many of us here. Drop your comments below and let me know. And don't forget to share this video as well with your friends and follow this channel, subscribe as well, so we can be able to give you more updates there. The last, I think I will just take one more and then we can end it there. There was a comment from somebody that I read earlier. I may have missed it, but it kind of suggested like, I have a sponsor who is Canadian, an elderly person or a senior citizen in Canada, and the person, be like saying Ibo, maybe a white person or some like a Caucasian sponsoring. If I understood it well, can this person sponsor me?
Is that we're talking about for study, visit, or family sponsorship?
I honestly missed out on that, but it could, let's assume that it's for either a temporary resident visa.
Okay, a temporary resident visa, it's not a clear intention. That's what they see it as. Even when it's a family sponsorship, they still doubt the intention, right? So why is the person sponsoring you? These are a lot of questions. Don't get me wrong, your sibling in Canada can sponsor you. We've done a lot of applications and they've all been approved. In that case, your sibling in Canada can sponsor you if they have a good source of income, but then you're talking about someone that is not related, right? And the person just want to sponsor your education. Even though the intentions are true, they'll find it hard to believe that the person is doing it out of his or her own way. And that is where the problem is. No matter what you prove, it's going to be difficult, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much there. I think there is an appreciation here from Gloria Konedu. Gloria Konedu, Mr. Choco, please thank Dr. Harrison for his selflessness. Doc, yeah, much appreciation there.
Thank you, sir.
All right. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to check out ImmiBuddy.com on your mobile phones, on your laptops or computers. So many schools to choose from. Apply. Some of them have no application fees at all to apply to the schools. Some of them actually do have. You can also get some scholarships. You may also not get scholarships as well, depending on the school and the programs you are. But the good news is that that platform has a lot more for you. So visit their website. Now, if you also like to personally consult Rae Immigrations, Dr. Harrison and his team are there to have a conversation with you. They have a special discount, 50% off for those who are booking from now to the end of the month of March, just because you love Choco Millionaire and then you're using my promo code Choco to actually connect with him. Yeah, post your testimonies here. If you're one of the beneficiaries from ImmiBuddy, you applied from the first video we did, you got your admissions, you were excited, you're working on the next step of applying for your visa study permits, please drop your comments and I'll be more than happy to check them out. I think there is one talking about that. There is one testimony from somebody who has benefited from ImmiBuddy. So let me look for that and put it here on the screen. All right. So this one says, Doc, I'm not able to see the name, but if you have the name, you can just mention. So there's somebody who has given a 5-star review a couple of minutes. They say the team at ImmiBuddy went above and beyond in assisting me with my appeal. Their expertise and professionalism in drafting a compelling letter played a pivotal role in turning my dream into reality. They made what seemed like an impossible process seamless and stress-free. Thanks to ImmiBuddy, I successfully gained admission to the program I was striving for, and I couldn't be more grateful for their help. I wholeheartedly, I can't see the rest, but I'm pretty sure you guys see it already. All right, so yeah, Doc, final words.
Okay, so all I would say is the money is very important before any other thing else. Be sure to check the money, right? Be sure to check the money. Shoko, if you allow me, how we can make the presentation available to them to review, no personal information there for anyone. That'd be great. Maybe share a link. We can do that, so they can look
which
at
presentation. You mean the slides?
The one I presented to the slide, so that they can look at.
You want to share it with them?
Just if they want, if they need it. I don't know. I can make it a.
What's the best way to do it? A link.
I can make a link. Yeah, a link that is available. There's no personal sensitive information. There's just a general review of all applications. So they can use. You can use that as a guide to save you from. Make your application rejection proof. So when there's a rejection, you know you have options: judicial review or reconsideration request if need be. Or if there is, you know you need to fix one or two things if you're in. I know definitely the officer might still look for more reason, let's say so. Then you have option to go for judicial review. So look at your finance, look at it very, very well. Think like this. If I bring A and they ask me of B, where is C, right? Think ahead of them.
Ahead of time.
When you're analyzing them. Just think through and be sure to put in a very clean, easy, and simple application. I tell people, right? Don't complicate it. Don't bring Uncle A. I've seen Uncle A, Uncle B, Uncle C, Uncle D all coming together for one person. It's very difficult to look at, to prove. Other than that, I would say check out ImmiBuddy. We're rolling out updates. We've made some bug fixes. Well, try to go in for your admission. We're trying to review our application as soon as possible, and we've been having return from the university within 48-24 hours. Once we have the immigration fully out, we'll let you guys know. Q2, we're going to launch the immigration. So we're using all these cases we have to train our AI model to be able to help you prepare your application in a way that it's good enough to give you a better chance, right? Then you don't need to meet a consultant or a lawyer or unauthorized agent. But if you have to and you can afford it, please do go for an experienced one so you don't have any issues with the application. So yeah, this is all from me. Thank you so much for making that time to attend this live.
I appreciate it. If you're also submitting bank statements, make sure that your bank statements also have clear descriptions of transactions on there. If there are so many transactions with no explanations or annotations, makes it easy for the officers to think a little bit more. You know what I mean? Don't think about that. Some people have used mobile money statements, which is pretty popular in countries where mobile money transfers actually work. In Ghana, we use mobile money a lot to do business. In East Africa, Tanzania, in Uganda, in Kenya, if you use your M-Pesa account have statements and stuff like that, right? If people are sending you money and you want to show proof that this is also one of your sources of income or where your finances pass through, are there proper descriptions of those transactions, or they are just 500,000 Kenyan shillings from Mr. Kimoto? Who is Kimoto? Why is he sending the money? There's no description. Or 200,000 Ghana cedis from Kofi Baboni. Who is Kofi Baboni? Why is Kofi Baboni sending you money? All right. Or Shukri Mohammed. I just dropped some more. Kwacha. What is the reason for it? Proper annotation. Is it for a business transaction? What part is the person buying? Is that a supplier? Is that a, those annotations make sense. There are some obvious ones that make sense, like salaries. It will state that it's payroll. If it's payroll, they understand that that's salary. All right. And salaries normally come towards the end of the month or the last few days of the month. So they can easily look at the previous month and say, this is salary. You understand? Yeah. But those ones that come in with just no details and stuff, and they are just a lot, it raises a lot of red flags or questions that needs to be answered. All right.
If I may, just one thing. So for the bank statement, once is a sponsor, sorry for the interruption, sure. When you provide a salary account from your father, your mother, or your own salary account that has that money, and the salary is good enough, right? It's good enough in the sense that they'll consider the living condition of that environment you are or the country you are, and they see what you're earning is a little bit above average and it's consistent. And now you have the money saved over time and that salary is there. It's easy with that account bank statement to get your visa. And you have a salary, but they don't see the salary, you just provide a pay slip. Raises question, right? So the salary, it's a good way to put source of income if it's a reasonable and good enough salary. So yeah, thank you.
If you're not a salary person, a business person, show proof that it is what it is. You do this, your business is registered, you have a business account, you have all the documents to prove that that is your. Now, if you cannot also keep your money in your account because you're a business person and money keeps going in and out, then let there be evidence that anytime they ask you for a statement, that money could be available. Nobody say you go put 500 billion, whatever in the account, and then after you submit the visa, everything is out, and for months the account is empty. Remember what doctor said? If you think about A, think about B and C. What if? So what if you submitted application as A and B happens, it was refused? What will you do next? How do you get the money back? You need a 4-month bank statement. Here you are, 4 months, you took the money out. Nothing's in there. Are you all of a sudden going to put the money back in there again and do so many questions there? Make sure you educate yourself. How do you apply through ImmiBuddy? How do you even create an account? This is how.
Want to make studying in Canada stress-free? Let me show you how to register on ImmiBuddy in just a few clicks. First, head over to ImmiBuddy.com. This is your all-in-one study abroad assistant. Next, click on the register button at the top right corner. Click on student registration, as that's the example for the day. Click on get started. Provide your first name, last name, email address, and password. Please ensure your password follows the provided guidelines below. Now click on create account. Once you do this, please read carefully the terms and conditions and then accept the terms. After accepting the terms and creating the account, you would get 2 emails to your email inbox. The first one will be a welcome to ImmiBuddy email, and the second one will contain an activation link to activate the account you have just created. Click on the activate my account button in the email to activate your account, and then you can sign in to proceed with the next steps.
All right, that is how you sign up on ImmiBuddy, which you can access on your mobile phones or your electronic device, other electronic devices. Thanks so much for watching today's edition. We'll come your way. If you want to see more of this, please comment below, hit the like button, subscribe, and keep those notifications up. Do have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.